Hello, this is Rod Ovid with another Take 5, where we just take a few minutes out each day and look at a Bible passage, try to dig deep, get something set before us so we can enjoy the nourishment and move on. I want to look at a passage today in Nehemiah 5. It begins at verse 14. It says, "Moreover, from the 20th year of King Artaxerxes, when I was appointed to be their governor in the land of Judah until his 32nd year, 12 years, neither I nor my brothers ate the food allotted to the governor. But the earlier governors, those preceding me, placed a heavy burden on the people and took 40 shekels of silver from them, in addition to food and wine. Their assistants also lorded it over the people. But out of reverence for God, I did not act like that. Instead, I devoted myself to the work on this wall." That's a testimony from Nehemiah. And see, the king, Artaxerxes, he wanted to make sure that the people far from his headquarters, from his palace, were at least giving to their king their due. And so when he put a governor over that territory, they were to extract what was needed by the king, keep order, keep peace. But that far from the palace, it got very tempting for some of those governors, and they just sort of set up their own fiefdom and demanded all kinds of things from the people. And when Nehemiah was appointed, he was led by a different motivation, and it's found in these words. He says, "But out of reverence for God." Now what's interesting is the Hebrew language there is basically two words, Yirah, Elohim. And that word yirah is the word in Hebrew that means fear. It's translated fear in almost every context. It appears 40 times in the Old Testament. It indicates, first of all, the fear of God, or an attitude of reverential awe and worship. In Proverbs 9:10 it says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." And it seems like if there's anything lacking today, if there's anything that we need as believers, it's wisdom. We need understanding. And Solomon, way back in the beginning of Proverbs, said, look, the very beginning of wisdom is this, that you must fear God. That's how it starts. Now, does that mean we sit in the corner and tremble? I mean, he's a God of love. Why would we do that? What does it mean to fear the Lord? First, God is the Creator. He's the Creator of all things. As such, He owes no one anything. All things are done according to His will. Nothing happens outside of His purview. God is almighty, and all power is His. He's in control of every aspect of all things, from the foundations of the earth, to the weather, to the time, just everything. See, we need to understand that God needs nothing. There was no emptiness in God that caused Him to create man. There wasn't something missing. He didn't have an ache in His heart and say, I have to make man and create man. He's perfect. He lacked nothing. See, because God is holy, He's other. His name basically began as other, the God who is other, the non-created creator. He owes nothing to anything. But see, we understand that holiness is God's dominating attribute. It's His driving attribute. It sets the decorum for all He does. God is holy. But see, we're not left with that alone, because there's another attribute of God that shines, and it's called love. God is love. It's not just that He does love. He acts in a loving way. He is love, and all love emanates from Him, and love is His motivating attribute. Holiness is the dominant, but love is the motivating attribute of God, and they meet at the cross, and they meet within our daily lives. So we have to be motivated by this fear of God, this knowledge that God is powerful. It's a wholesome fear. It's like we fear fire in a way. You don't put your hand in a flame. You know it will burn. And we know that God is all-powerful and holy. And so that motivates us. It motivates us to act correct. It helps us with our armor, our breastplate of righteousness. We do that out of love and respect and honor for God. And then His love, the motivating attribute, spurs us on to good works. His love redeems us, gives us a purpose, keeps us going, gives us hope, never lets us down, is always there. And so, like Nehemiah, regardless of what it is before us today, whether at a job, at home, raising kids, in school, whatever your task, whatever it is you're doing today, there could be a sentence written about you, but out of reverence for God, Yirah Elohim, I did or did not do such and such. Wouldn't that be a good chapter in our life? Let's begin it today. You put the fear of God, the reverence for God, front and center in your life, and I know for a fact you will have a blessed day.